Hi there, my name is Becky Wilson, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Google Translate and the augmented reality app available on the iPhone and on the Google Play Store, and the applications this app can have for the classroom. Before we get started, I'd like to provide you with a preview of what you can expect to take away from today's session. First, we're going to talk about the need for real-time translation in the school setting. Next, we're going to use Google Translate to translate text, spoken, and written language and see how that could be applicable for students and teachers in the classroom. Next, we're going to model the use for English language learners in the classroom and see what some real situations might look like. Finally, we're going to facilitate conversation with English language learners in our classroom and be able to think about how we could use this AR app for that purpose. Let's start by considering what is augmented reality. Augmented reality is a program in which there are real-world objects which are enhanced by computer-generated media. In this example, you see that there are some real-world notes that have been taken, and the computer is then able to pick up the text there, do some translation, and offer me some other options that I can employ using this enhancement that's generated in this augmented reality setting. Augmented reality has been used in a number of ways to expand educational opportunities and give students access to experiences they might not have had otherwise. As you might imagine, augmented reality is often used for experiences like going back into sites in history like Machu Picchu, or exploring the inner workings of the cell. So why, do you ask, do we need augmented reality for translation? Well, in our school communities, we have a growing needs of a diverse community, which we need to meet every day and in every situation. We also need to meet families where they are, sometimes with limited resources for bilingual interpretation. And we also need to build independence and developing skills for our bilingual learners, both by immersing them in their current language and giving them opportunities to expand their access to English language instruction. As you might imagine, there are multiple translation apps available in today's marketplace. So why Google Translate AR app? First of all, it provides a variety of tools in one robust package that's pretty easy to learn for students and teachers. It also works with most mobile technologies for smartphones and iPads. It can be used in school or at home or really on the go anywhere. It can be used as an online or an offline tool with robust features in both versions. It also provides real-time, in-person, spoken translation and written translation. So this is a tool that will give students and teachers the ability to converse with one another freely and to have those intellectual conversations that are so needed to build language knowledge and to understand the content being conveyed. So how does this app work? Well, currently there are more than 100 languages available, giving us a wide variety of languages that we can support. It also supports written, spoken, and typed languages, and it does so through three main modes: the camera mode, the conversation mode, and the transcription mode. Each mode works a little bit differently for different situations, but it builds upon the same set of intuitive tools that students and teachers can learn to use with great ease. One major consideration for using this tool is the wide availability on a variety of platforms. This tool is available both on the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store, which means it's available for Android devices as well as for Apple iPhones and iPads. Once you've gone to either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, you simply need to search for Google Translate. There you'll see the icon on the screen, which shows you the Google Translate app. Once you've chosen the Get icon next to the app, you can download it onto your device. Once the app is downloaded to your personal device, you're simply going to click on the icon and you'll be inside of the app. So how can Google Translate in practice in the school setting enhance the educational experience for English language learners? Let's look at a few ways the app works. Let's take a look inside the app to check out some of the features available. The first feature you're going to see is that you can choose either between English and Spanish, as we have set here. This is where you can select the languages that you would like to use in the app for your experience. The next thing you're going to see is that there are a few options for how you can use the app. The main modes in the app include camera, conversation, and translation, which all function just a bit differently and provide different services. So how might we use conversation mode in the classroom? Conversation mode allows for students and teachers or two students to have a real-time conversation while the instructions or the conversation is translated between languages. This means people can talk freely and hear the conversation spoken aloud in the language they need. This facilitates two-way communication between students and teachers or between two peer students when a translator may not be available to help facilitate the collaboration. In order to activate the conversation feature, you're simply going to click on the conversation piece in the app, and then you'll begin to speak. Immediately, we have the option to start recording what we're saying. Once we finish, it plays back in Spanish.
Inmediatamente. Tenemos la opción de...
Let's try a full example so we can see what it can do. And now all of the words that I speak are being translated into Spanish. So also will be read aloud after I finish speaking.
Y ahora todas las palabras que hablo están siendo traducidas al español. Así también se leerá en voz alta después de que termine de hablar.
There's also a partner function to the translation feature in Google Translate AR. This is an option to type or write your text in order to get a quick translation in order to share with a student, a peer, or anyone else. Let's take a look at how this works. We pull up the write feature by clicking on the pen, and I begin writing a few words, and the AR recognizes my words and translate them promptly into Spanish. Then I can take those words and I can either send them over to my phrase book or I can use them to create something new. I can also do the same thing by typing my words and getting it translated where I can send it as a message or I can copy it to another assignment or share it with someone else. The quick translation feature also works for speech as well. I have an option now so I can speak and it will give me a quick translation. A major benefit of using the Google Translate AR is the option of Right Now translation as needed for individual students and teachers. This gives students the opportunity to learn alongside their peers in real time and not be removed from the classroom or wait for the opportunity for translation to become available for them. It also means that teachers can expose students to real text without needing to translate each thing before students come to class. Let's take a look at a few examples from a variety of different contexts. Reading text on the page in the printed language as well as the translated language could open opportunities for English language learners to grow their skills and confidence using this app. This tool allows for an organic exploration of text in the moment as the questions and comments come up. Providing real-time translation means jumping into the camera option for Google Translate AR. To access the camera option, you're simply going to select Camera from the top third of the screen. When you do, the camera will become active and you can see here I have a book. On the book page, when you hold the camera and position it above the page, you can see the words start to change into the translated language. You can see at the top of my screen I again have English to Spanish, and now I've taken a picture to isolate the words. Once I took the picture, you see I have several options of what I can do with the text. I can select the text in order to save it and copy it to a document. I can also listen to the text so that I can hear it in Spanish instead of English. I can also send the translation and save it or send it in a text message or in an email so I can use it later. These options mean students can look at text in a language most understandable to them and have access to be able to annotate and return to the text as needed in their academic endeavors. Here's another context where we can use Google Translate AR to help facilitate learning for students. You can see this is a primary grades worksheet and I've used the camera function once again. I've also chosen English to Spanish once again. So in this context, I could use this a couple of ways. If I have a student in my classroom for whom English is a second language, I can allow them to use the Spanish if they're building their context. This could also help parents build confidence with their students as they continue to grow their English at home in a situation which might be an English as a second language family. Providing these tools allows us to help meet our students and families where they are and move them along the spectrum of English language learning skills and progression. The camera function in Google Translate AR also helps to make environments more accessible, especially for our newcomer students who might not have much English language experience. These tools can help build student autonomy, independence, and confidence while immersing the student in the new language. In the example pictured, you can see that the signs in the hallways of the school are now translated to Spanish on the app in order to facilitate ease of movement throughout the building and confidence in finding where the student needs to go. This works for anchor charts and other signage throughout the building to help students feel more confident in their new setting. Another unique and important feature of Google Translate using the camera function is the ability to transcribe real-time notes written on paper into digital notes and translated notes, as well as to offer up links from Google. As you can see in the example on the screen, when you translate the notes, in this case about cell division, there are options about diving deeper into the content using Google searches and exploring the content further in order to increase learning for students. Once again, transcribed text can be kept for part of the phrasebook or transcription library, as well as sent along in a digital variety, being copied and pasted elsewhere, or sent as a text message or email message to share with others. The camera function can also be used for a wide variety of texts in a wide variety of fonts. As you can see, there's a periodical here, Our State Magazine, and on this cover, the camera is using the translation software in order to translate the headlines and all of the smaller taglines as well. In this case, I wait until I can zoom in and get a good picture of the whole cover, and once I get the picture of the cover, I can capture it with the button on the screen, and it will translate from English to Spanish just as we have been. And once again, you can see there are several options at the bottom of the screen available. I can send the text. I can also save it. And so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to save some of our text here, and I am going to save it. I'm going to put it in my transcription library so I can come back to it later. My example here in my transcription library, you can see I can see the text as I originally saved it in Spanish, and I can also see the English that it was translated from. So if this can help with English vocabulary acquisition, but also another tool that's available is the Speak Back in English and Spanish. Let's listen.
Our state celebrating North Carolina January 2022 $5.99 Inter welcome UNTAIN to Roanoke Island. TUNNING snow-covered views P60Y snow day. The secret to camping in the cold P54 the SNOWMAKER of Sugar Mountain.
Tools like these readback features make it much easier for students to grow their literacy skills both in English and in their native language. Using the listening function allows the listener to hear the text read aloud in the translated language in order to help with foundational literacy skills. Often when students come to us, we make assumptions about their grade level standards of literacy, while sometimes those assumptions are flawed or completely untrue. Giving the support in listening in either English or Spanish helps students build their literacy skills from where they are to where they need to grow. Select the Listen button in the middle of the screen at any time to help students listen to the translated language in order to grow their comprehension and vocabulary. When users have created translations, they can choose to keep them later. Simply click the Save function on the right-hand side of the screen in order to keep translations or transcripts for later. As users delve into using the app more often, They can begin to create a phrase book in order to help students and teachers access commonly used language and have it available at their fingertips. By saving key phrases and transcripts, students will be able to move back and forth and build their vocabulary and comprehension in these common phrases and words they use on a daily basis. Inside the app, saving phrases is a fairly easy task. You can see near the bottom of the screen that I have some transcripts and phrases that are available. I simply click on one and make the star yellow. Whenever I've made the yellow star, I can then click on the phrasebook function and I get a list of all of the phrases that I have saved to my phrasebook and have access to them at any time I need in order to facilitate conversations that may happen around me. I also have access to click on the transcripts function in order to get copies of all of the transcripts I have saved to my Google AR app. Another helpful component of the Google Translate AR app is online and offline functionality. That means all of the tools that are available in the online version are available offline. In order to have tool availability offline, users must download the packet before moving to the offline environment. Offline functionality is pretty easy to acquire once you know the steps. So if you look at the center of the screen, you're going to click on the Translate Even When Offline, and I've chosen Spanish here. So I'm going to click on that middle section of the screen, and when I do so, it's going to give me the option to download this packet. So I have to click the download option, and when I download the packet, it's now going to be available online and offline and give me full functionality, but only in Spanish. So that is the limitation of the offline packet, is that you don't have access to all of the languages, just one. In summary, Google Translate AR is a robust tool with several options to help facilitate language acquisition and development of language skills. From the camera and immersive technology to the conversation technology to enable two-way communications, and to this transcription technology, which enables students to build a phrase book and to build transcripts of meaningful articles to help them better understand the language, Google Translate AR has many functions to help facilitate learning for students of all levels.